is the ones we focused on, and we don't have no problem with nobody as long as they don't try to interfere with us restoring the matriarchy and rebuilding the clans' tribal rights, restoring the tribal rights back to the clans, right? We can clean the streets up in a week. We can stop the violence in a day. But you can't do none of that when your enemy is ruling over you, causing these things to transpire on purpose, and we not doing nothing to stop them. The internet is just a tool, people. It's like a wrench in a toolbox. And I don't be on here all day, every day, right? Contrary to popular opinion. But I do know what I'm talking about. And I do know that the entirety of this shit show is about to come to a grand finale real soon.
Right. That's right. Says what about Antarctica? That's interesting. That's my first time hearing that.
Look, America never honored a treaty, nowhere. All of their position of treaty power was predicated up on a constructed fraud. All of the treaties for the corporation known as America is canceled. It's just bankrupt and defunct. No longer operational. We need to start looking at what is it going to be like when we get back into the position to reap the benefit of the resources that we produce from our labor and from our land.
Right.
Right. So whether you think I'm a chief on the internet or not, it don't matter to me. Only thing matter to me is I put it in the public domain. Right. That what takes place is according to procedure. Mm-hmm. All I'm doing is showing y'all the receipts for what I'm talking about, so y'all can have a clear understanding of what I'm saying, because sometimes I sound neurotic, but I know exactly what I be saying. But it be so far-fetched to a person that's conditioned to doing something one way that it sounds like it's wrong or that it's crazy. But that's only because you fighting your conditioning, not what I'm showing you, because I'm showing the receipts.
Right. Right. Shit, who is they? Who has surrendered our stuff? Oh yeah, she was saying, Ben. She must just count on, Rod. They look like us, but they ain't us. The laws.
Yeah. So, like I was telling them earlier, we already seized 650 airplanes full of gold from the Vatican. We seized the World Bank and International Monetary Fund for fraud and taxing the American people. Right. Under international law, we had a right to seize the corporation because they was committing, by the number of people and the amount of money, it was a gross felony in a high degree. It was like the same as trying to overthrow somebody's foreign government. But the banks were using the inflation fractional reserve banking process in order to steal the wealth of the people, and the people steady reaping less and less benefit for their labor and for the fruits of the land. They were sending the money to other people. We had to go seize all that back. He told you who he was. If he wasn't who he said he was, they'd have shut him up by now. Mm-hmm. If he wasn't who he said he was, them motherfuckers with them black suits would have been over there shutting him up. So I gotta believe that he exactly who he say he is, because I ain't seen no motherfuckers with no black suits run up on him. They came to see me at work, try to find out what I want. I'm not negotiating with you motherfuckers. I want my people to be made whole. I want you to stop pushing this homosexual agenda. I want you to stop pushing this rape campaign and misogyny and disrespect of the women and the men. You disrespect the women so bad it make the men disrespect themselves. That's some sour shit. You disrespect the women so bad you make the men disrespect themselves. They have to little themselves down in order to be at the level of respect that they can get for their woman. Then she lash out and we don't know how to fix it. Then we're not military savvy. But the man said who he is. They ain't popped up on him and told him, hey, you mislead people because they ain't fact checked him. So he must be on to something.
So hey, that tribe is a mix. That tribe is actually a mixed tribe.
What tribe?
The Lakota people, they actually mix with Hoshin, the Armaks, and I think the Hindus.
Look, did you hear what that lady said? What Big Mama said on that last video?
What she said?
About the master kids and the white woman knew?
Nah.
Them little mulatto kids running around blowing her husband?
Yeah.
Where them goddamn kids go? Where all them kids go?
That's a good question.
Most of them moved to the north and was passing. Who they marry? They passing. Where they live at while they passing? Who blood still in their veins while they passing, Elder?
Go ahead.
Right? They don't even know that the eugenics program by Margaret Sanger was singing about was written by Inky.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know that because while he's using polarization of opposites to draw them together, where Inky want to draw them together using the separation by definition based on complexion. Mm-hmm. They're using two different things to get us together. So where did all of them motherfucking curly haired babies go off the plantation?
Right.
And them straight haired babies off the plantation. Where they go?
Right.
Where they at? So white girls just that just randomly happen. Ain't no drop of blood over there. Rhythm. Right. Where did they get it from? Where they got that blood? Hillbillies. Singing that bluegrass. That's that country boy music.
Right.
Yeah. They talk about try this in a small town. You goddamn right. Try it in a small town if you want to. That's what you call a tight-knit community.
Yeah.
We didn't fell apart. Sew this motherfucker back up.
Let's go.
Right? So
yeah, I think what he's trying to say about the AG, I don't know what Minister Farrakhan
listen. When we talk about doctrines, these doctrines, like the Nation of Islam, the Nuwabian Nation, the 5% Nation, these doctrines, these religious doctrines is there in order to try to make us remember some portions of one of our past lives. If you can remember a little sliver of it during the amnesia, you'll start your area created colonies. You want to come in and talk about that? Let's see. I really didn't have nothing to talk about. I just wanted to show y'all that some of the slides in that video of what was. Hey, how you doing?
Peace. I was just gonna. I just have like a comment, and maybe you could like tie it into something. But I literally know parts of my lineage. My maternal side is Caribbean, so she's from the island of Hispaniola, by the Caribbean Sea. Dominican Republic is what they call it, but it's really the land of Tainos. And I have.
That's what does.
I'm sorry.
That was all. That was the islands of Puerto Rico and Cuba as well. Taino, Puerto Rico, and Ottawa.
Yeah. Yes. And so, I have siren lineage or mermaid lineage or whatever. And my homegirl, she's Liberian. She just was telling me yesterday about Lemuria. Am I saying that right? And she was saying how like those were water people, and how basically before Atlantis, and I had never heard of them before, like her saying that. And I just feel like it's so crazy how like literally today you're like talking about it, because my first time really hearing about mer people was Atlantis, and then learning about my lineage. You know, I never knew that like before Atlantis there was anything else but what people said, like the Anunnaki and stuff like that. But for me, I don't really resonate with the Anunnakis, you know, so like that's
I ain't too keen on them either, but since they part of the record, I got to talk about them whether I want to or not.
Yeah.
But before the Anunnaki came, like we used to like fucking dive under the water for 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour with no problem. You know, so we was already, you know, partially aquatic. You know, partially land. It was more amphibious than we was either land dwellers or like, cause we even right now in Africa, in South Africa, they on the coastline, they got young boys that dive underwater for extended periods of time catching fish, which is it's an echo from an earlier period.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was like doing more research because like my family doesn't really talk about the stuff like that. I had to just like piece everything together, as far as like even people having abilities, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a clairvoyant, but because like we've been colonized,
Yeah,
like,
you telepathic too.
I'm sorry?
You're telepathic too.
Yes. And my fiance, he's from Detroit, and he's a medium. And like it's so crazy how like when I was growing up, they had us so fearful of like everything, you know what I'm saying? But like I was literally seeing before people would die, you know, I was literally seeing what was gonna happen tomorrow. And like I don't know, it's just so weird how like now like it's being more appreciated versus like, you know, being so scared. And then there's still skeptics or whatever. But I was looking into like mermaids, whatever, and they were talking about in Haiti how by the waters of Haiti, there's mermaids that are taking women or young girls, and they're keeping them for a period of time and then bringing them back and teaching them magic. And they're not allowed to speak about what's happened or whatever because it's supposed to be sacred. And like people, you know, the inorganic ones, what I like to say, white people, like they are saying how like they're evil and this and that. And like for someone who knows my lineage, it actually kind of gets to me because I'm just like evil. Like, you know, I don't feel like, you know, we're evil because we're, you know, not what you guys are, basically.
So look, skin color don't make you good or evil. Eye color don't make you good or evil. Hair texture don't make you good or evil. What you have rotten in your heart, making you fuck over people and mistreat people and think you better than other folks, that's what make you evil. Right? So the whole divide and conquer mechanism wasn't just skin-based racism. It was also, my religion is bigger than yours. My God is smarter than yours, tougher than yours, bigger than yours. You know, my candidate is a better politician than yours. And don't none of that shit got nothing to do with us.
Facts.
See, we didn't do racism before the invaders came. We invited all people over here that wanted to live by the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
I can see that.
And that's why it's always been known as the great melding pot. When you start searching in ancient history and you find out America, what we call America today, was referred to as the Great Amalgamation, the land of the Great Amalgamation. What the fuck is they talking about, and why do I keep running across this shit? Because all of the clans on Earth congregated on this land. This is the Holy Land.
And my father's side is Cherokee and Chickasaw, because he's from, like, I'm from Norfolk, Virginia, but they're originally from North Carolina, so it's more like Cherokee over there and like a few other tribes. But I'm mainly Cherokee or whatever.
Yeah.
And
so the Cherokee migrated over there to fight in the Seminole Wars, just to give you a little background.
Oh, so I'm probably not even really from North Carolina. Like, my people are probably from wherever they migrated from then.
It's possible, but you're gonna be called whenever Big Mama gonna you just gonna know where to go. You're not gonna know why you want to go there, but you're gonna know you determined. That's what they call the matriarchal call. When you get that shit, ain't nobody gonna stop you from going where you feel you need to be on the energy grid during the shift, because everybody got to line up. Big Mama telling us all where to go.
That's crazy, because I'm about to go to Dominican Republic. I have land over there, and I'm building a house, and I don't know why. Like I'm feeling so called to get back to my Taino roots over there. Like, I've been learning the ancient alphabet. You know, like the fact that you said like the Arawak people, they're not just in those. They're actually even in Mexico. You know, so like just learning all that is just like so crazy to me. And like I've just been like, why am I getting like called over here and called there or whatever? And every time I'm like called to different spots, because I just came back from, I'm in Atlanta right now, but I just came back from Norfolk, and I was there healing. Like, there was no reason for me to be there for real. I was at my grandmother's house, and I was learning so much about like my ancestors and why we look the way we look. Like, my grandmother's dark skin, but I look just like her, and we don't look like anybody else in our family, and it's because she has a different father. But it was just so like eye-opening to like actually like learn about what I have to learn about. And then I was just like, all right, on to the next. And then that's why I'm like planning my trip to go to Dominican Republic, because I'm just trying to pretty much get back to the roots.
So the Haiti is the big deal. Haiti got the dagger that belongs in the heart of the corporation known as the United States. It's the carryover, the residuals from the conjure of the Haitian Revolution. Now, when we talk about the Haitian Revolution, we never, ever, 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 ever talk about the other half of the island. The other half of the island was fighting too.
Yeah.
So we'll remember sporadic major events, and we'll read about them, and people will write about them. But why are they speaking French on one half of the island, Spanish on the other half? Right? And then some of the surrounding islands in close proximity, they speak in English. Right? All of us was fighting. There's no tribe that wasn't in this fight. There's not one. We was all in this shit. That's why you got motherfuckers that look like Polynesians in places where Polynesians shouldn't have been.
Facts. There's like Asian looking people in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And
So
they speak just like us. Like it's so crazy. And I'm like, yo, where did y'all? They're like, we've been here forever. I'm just like, forever. Like,
so when we fought the Seminole Wars was like the big war battleground, because the trees, the terrain, the enemy couldn't get in there. Florida was way different topography than it is now.
More like marshy.
No, it was trees. The trees was like Florida redwoods, some of them. A lot of them was. But when the invaders would run in there, you had half of the Seminoles hit the treetops and attack them from the top, while the other half hit the marsh and attack them from the swampy ground. So they couldn't never get a stronghold. So they start cutting down the trees and setting fires until they pretty much, like right now when you go through Florida, most people don't pay attention. But you have major tree stumps that's been there for at least 100 years, right? And they like, you could tell it was a bunch of trees there, but they don't cut them down. Like, when you know what lumberjacks do in foresting, they cut close to the ground. These trees not cut close to the ground, and they all did, right? And the reason they did, because they burnt them up, right?
It's crazy. I was born in Miami, but I claim Virginia because that's where I'm from. And like, we had a house in Miami and everything or whatever, but I was always telling my mom how I liked more so the middle of Florida and North Florida because it had more agriculture. Like it had more greenery there. Like in Miami, there's a few palm trees. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no like real green. And I was just like, it's actually crazy that it's just houses everywhere and there's no green, barely any grass.
The land in Florida used to look like the bayous of Louisiana. The whole, almost all of Florida. And then where all of the major cities of Florida, Jacksonville, Miami, Dayton, Tallahassee, those were what you call dry lands of Florida. The majority of Florida they lived in the treetops. We called them skywalkers. And it wasn't just Florida. The rainforests of the South that was cut down stretched all the way going into Texas.
Oh, shoot. So like it went through Alabama, through Georgia, Alabama.
Through Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, all the way up into Texas. They had trees cut down. If you go back to the stories of what's this? He had Babe the Blue Eye, Paul Bunyan, the great lumberjack, right? Because Paul Bunyan was the symbol for the lumberjacks that they brought over here to chop all that shit down.
Wow.
Then they found out how to monetize the trees, and we was fucked after that.
Mm-hmm.
Once they found out how to monetize the trees, that's when they started giving it to us with no motherfucking lube.
Do you believe in energy vortexes? Because like I'm here in Georgia, right? And like it does not. I get the kind of same feeling that I get when I'm in Arizona. Like it's a lot of, there's a lot of bad everywhere, but it's a lot of weird shit going on over here. Like a lot of weird shit. And like,
well, this might help you.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta is where Atlantis is supposed to reemerge from.
Ooh.
Atlanta. But before Atlantis can reemerge from Atlanta, meaning that the elders that's in Atlanta are the most instrumental, but they're not going to be seen until we see three kings walk in the land. And when three kings raise the matriarch, there's some people in Atlanta that's probably about 200 years old. They got the real keys. The keys I got, that's just opening the door to Big Mama house. But the real old people that live in Atlanta, they real old. I mean, like they real old. Like they old to the point where the whites of their eyes look like it got buildup on it, and it's kind of like a grayish color. They old.
Look like they got cataracts.
Yeah, but they don't got no cataracts. They see better than you.
Yeah.
And they got a very strong mystic presence, and you can probably be feeling them from where you at.
That's interesting because I feel like it is probably the elders that are gonna have to come out when they come out, you know what I'm saying? Because I know it's like people here my age, I'm 23. Their frequency is so slave mentality, so locked in. And like I know like everybody has to go through their own journey and figure it out themselves and wake up when they wake up. But it's crazy because you can give them all the facts, you can read them everything, and they'll be like, so. And it's just so crazy because it's just like, don't you want to be your best self? Don't you want to be better? Don't you want to be healthy? Don't you want to activate? Don't you want to, be the best you can be? And like, they're so different than any other like group of indigenous Aboriginal people. Because I've traveled a lot through the East Coast. And like, I don't know, the people in Atlanta, like, it's like they have like a hold on them. And it's so crazy because if you're saying it's going to be the new Atlantis, like, I feel like a lot of people, when they start waking up for real, when they start seeing everything, they're going to be sick, like sick.
Well, a lot of people in Atlanta not going to make it.
Well,
a lot of people in Atlanta not going to make it. And it ain't nothing that they could do about it because they not wired with the requirements it's going to take to make it through this shift.
Mm-hmm.
But there is some old people, and Big Mama just told me, he's channeled this since I've been talking to you. There's some people that we think dead that's in a meditative trance. In Atlanta. I don't know where they at, but they in Atlanta, in the general area of Atlanta. See, so in the Crystal City land, they're going to automatically wake up as if somebody poured cold water on them.
Have you heard of the Georgia Guidestones?
Yep.
So I don't know, like when I first read them, I was like, well, this kind of makes sense. Like what it's saying doesn't sound crazy, doesn't sound bad. When it was like basically translating what it was. And then when I started doing some more research, it was a whole bunch of people saying that it's has to do with like the end of the world, apocalypses and the Antichrist and stuff. But it had me really confused because I didn't feel like it said anything bad. Like, live with nature, live in harmony. Like, you know, it didn't have nothing that was like crazy on there that was just like, okay, this is like bad. You know what I'm saying? Or not even bad, like for us to be in distress. But I also know that it was a certain kind of people who were saying that. And I read that they wanted to knock them down, but they couldn't figure out how to destroy them.
Anybody that you can listen, this is the saints. Anybody you can't figure out how to destroy them, if you can leave them to their own devices, they'll destroy themselves most of the time. Because people have a tendency, especially the way we taught, to become arrogant and egocentric to the point that they don't think that nobody can touch them. They think they're untouchable until they get touched.
Truly.
You know, so the best thing, like me, I just want to wake people up. You don't have to believe everything that I say. I don't expect nobody to, because ain't nobody supposed to believe everything somebody say. You know what I mean? You supposed to check shit out. You know, that don't sound right. Right, that don't sound right to me.
Yeah, I feel like it's supposed to resonate with you. Like, if you get the goosies, if you know, flood in your spirit, and that's what it is. Like, I feel like right now, a lot of people are always questioning their intuition. And because I've always been a clairvoyant, and I've literally seen, like, literally my fiance's aunt, I told him, I was like, we got to check up on her because I had like this vision, she's going to be leaving. She left in a week. She was gone out of here in a week. Not forever, because, you know, we don't die, but like, she was gone. And like for me being so in tune with that, like I do my best to just listen to my intuition, listen to spirit, you know, and take my download seriously versus everybody else. And I noticed too, like in the spiritual community, everybody wants to be right. This is the real truth or whatever. And I'm just like, maybe that's your truth. Maybe that's your truth. You know what I'm saying? But there's only one truth. And if it don't resonate with everybody, it's probably not really the truth. You know what I'm saying? If most people are resonating with it.
This is the problem with people talking about they got the truth.
You
know, the reason why you know they don't got the truth is because during their research, they took sides. You can't take sides because you wasn't here. The body you in now wasn't here. You have to read that shit like a tarot card. If you don't read it like a tarot card, as an energy signature from the past that's coming into the future to give you some information, and you take sides on that shit, whatever side you pick, you're gonna pick the wrong side because there's lies on both sides of it. But when you don't pick sides and you just try to get like my man on Just the Facts, man, Adam 12, Just the Facts. Just don't even take sides, right? It's like your two favorite cousins get into a fight. Just break that shit up. Don't get in that shit.
Facts. Like I was on here the other day when you were speaking on a few other, I guess people in this community who are trying to wake people up. And like what I heard, I didn't hear nothing from you saying nothing bad. And everybody was tagging these people trying to like, you know, instigate something out. And I just kept putting in the comments like, he didn't say anything bad though. But he didn't say anything bad. Like
that's because they got to take a side.
You know, and I'm like,
this is how divide and conquer work.
Somebody just said the Atlanteans were born with ego, and that's why they fell.
They were infiltrated. That's why they fell.
Like
they didn't fall, really. Atlantis didn't fall. We was at war. And what they said sunk as Atlantis was a ship that flew away to Crystal City coming back. It just docked on Liverpool for the 3,600-year cycle until they come back around. Right? And that give us the time to figure out this conundrum we under and work our way out of the problem. But don't everybody that come to work their way out of the problem take sides and get us fucked.